Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Besties. Today, Kelly and I are diving into the Lionsgate portal. If you don't know what the Lionsgate portal is, think of it as this energetic doorway. And behind that doorway are the highest forms of frequency waiting for you to kind of dive in so you can activate your own spiritual gifts, call in manifestations, and release old and outdated programs. Um, so the Lions Portal actually started on on July 26th, and it goes until August 8th. So for the next like week or so, like the energy is rising. And August 8th is when the 8/8 portal it's amplified. So what's happening right now, like astrologically, is the Earth, the Sun in Leo, and the Sirius star are all aligning, and that's creating this portal, along with us as a collective thinking about it, which is just creating the portal more and more. So the veil right now between the 3D and the 5D is getting thinner and thinner, which is allowing you to bring in those manifestations and release everything that's not serving you. So Kelly, I know you have a little bit more info on the background. So how about you share kind of what the Lionsgate portal means to you? I want to keep wanting to say Lion's Mane portal, but I know it's like mushrooms.
I mean, lion's mane is good too. Maybe we should
Yeah,
do some lion's mane as we're manifesting during the Lionsgate portal.
or maybe, yeah.
Maybe that's what Spirit's trying to tell you.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, so last year I got really curious about it, and so I was doing some research and as Christy said, it's this popular time. It's rooted in astrology, numerology, and even ancient Egyptian cosmology. And it's known as this powerful time for manifestation, and like personal transformation. And when I was looking into it, I learned a little bit more about like what what it relates to in the stars. So, right, when we're thinking about astrology or Egyptian cosmology, it ties to the alignment of where the stars are at any given moment. And so, a lot of the lore talks about it being about the star Sirius, the sun, and the constellation Leo, and all of these have deep importance in Egyptian thought. So Sirius, which I think was called Sopdet. I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly. In ancient Egypt was considered the most sacred star. And so they call it the heliacal rising. So when Sirius first becomes visible on the eastern horizon over there just before sunrise, that occurs in early July near July 26th. And it goes to roughly like August 8th or 12th. And so it aligns really closely with that Lionsgate portal date, and that's how those things kind of came to be associated with one another. Now, really cool, like if you want to go down a rabbit hole, this event coincided with the annual flooding of the Nile, which brought fertility, abundance, and was seen as like the rebirth of the land. So if you think about like the moon creating like the different water patterns and the ocean and the rivers, there's just all of these like interwoven things. And so I went down this deep, dark rabbit hole. But then I also found that Sirius was associated with the goddess Isis from ancient
Mm.
Egypt, who represented magic, rebirth, and divine feminine power. So that's how like everything kind of ties together and why the Lionsgate portal, not the Lion's Mane portal. I almost said that. Why that like has those like Egyptian cosmology backgrounds. So I thought it was pretty fascinating to learn about.
I think that's so fascinating. I love like the tie-in with the history behind it because it's not just like something that energetically is happening right now. Like it's been happening for centuries. And to me, like the fact that it happens during Leo season, which Leo represents, like the lion, and that's all about bravery and showing up for yourself and being authentic. So I feel like this is a really kind of nice opportunity for people to kind of look at themselves and think, how am I contributing to the mask that I wear that inhibits me from like shining through in my authentic, truest expression of self? we've done a whole podcast before on like the masks that we wear. So I think it's good to kind of sometimes be introverted, not introverted, but to look within and think about how am I contributing to kind of my own suffering? Like, how am I blocking myself from these manifestations coming through? So maybe like the beginning part of this portal, which is opening up right now, kind of be introspective and think about um where it is you are blocking yourself from receiving what it is you really want. And then by the time you get to 8-8 or 8-12, when that energy is like really amplified, you'll have more openness in your body to call in those manifestations. Because what could happen right now is it could be shedding light on things that you need to clear, things that you need to release, and also things that you need clarity on. So, just kind of having that in your mind when you are going through the next week or so. You may feel a little bit more emotional. You may have like restless sleeping patterns. You may feel more intuitive because right now the energy right now is really heightened. So if you're wanting to kind of turn those intuitive gifts online, definitely like listen to our clairs that we recorded about in the past. Those episodes would be really great. But also just kind of again like getting in tune with yourself. And I think the whole idea of like the nature element that you were talking about with the Egyptians with the Nile flooding and um the idea of like the sun and the earth and then the star Sirius all aligning, kind of getting more in that rhythm of your own heartbeat. So really listening and being in tune to your body. That's all going to create space within to call in these manifestations where the energy is right for them.
Yeah. So doubling down, just to give you, if you don't have enough ammo already, the lion was the sacred and like royal symbol in Egypt and often was linked to Sekhmet, who was the lion-headed goddess of war, protection, and healing too. And when you think about Sekhmet representing like the sun's power, basically like ancient Egyptians believed that whatever you put your attention on, you'd either bring destruction or healing, depending on how you directed your energy. So, as Christy said, like there's this whole idea of like during this portal, if you focus on manifesting, on healing, on bringing in more of what you want, you're going to draw that in. But if you direct your energy to the wrong space, I mean, you can manifest that too.
Yeah, and I'm actually creating like a whole course right now on manifestations, but or manifesting. But it's really important to like use this time as opportunity, like I said, to get to know yourself because you may say, I want to have $1 million, but it's not that you want the $1 million, that you want the money. It's that you want the freedom that comes with the money, or maybe you want the status that comes with the money. Whatever it is, there's that underlying layer, and that's where you need to get to in order to bring your manifestations in. And right now the energy is like really, it's like I said, it's ready for that. So if you're wanting to call something in, the first step is to really get to know yourself and figure out why it is you want what you want. And then like Kelly said, you have to kind of align with that frequency, meaning walk, talk, breathe, act like somebody who is already a millionaire. How would that feel? How would they hold themselves, carry themselves? That's all going to bring those manifestations into you a lot quicker and a lot easier because it should be easy. It shouldn't be like resistant.
Yeah, I love that so much. I think there are also some optional spiritual tools you can use to help with your manifestation. So, like, I'm planning to probably do an oracle card pull for myself just to see what message the Lion's Gate holds for me.
Mhm.
Really good, like, oils or candles to have around or incense would be like frankincense, sandalwood, or rose. And then, citrine and sunstone are really going to be your best crystals for manifesting during this particular portal. But what I plan to do is actually like write a letter to my higher self. I call it a
Mhm.
manifestation letter, but basically what I do in this letter is I describe how filled with gratitude I am for the specific things that I'm manifesting. So, as Christy said, you have to walk the walk or talk the talk. And we do ourselves a disservice. Like, How many times have walked into a restaurant? Maybe it's a quick restaurant, for a meal. So not a sit-down restaurant. You get your food and you don't end up, tipping because you don't have to tip in a space like that. Because your mindset is like, oh, well, I should save my money. That's not
Mhm.
walking your walk and talking your talk if you're trying to bring in abundance and wealth for yourself. Instead, as Christy said, like, what would a millionaire do? And then do that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's another great example. I think for myself for this time, I'm not really focusing on manifestations right now. I'm not even thinking about it. Like to me, I'm using the energy of this portal to focus on myself and really get in tune with who I am on a soul level. And I think just by doing that, like really listening intuitively to my body and to um my inner knowing, that inner voice, that's going to naturally bring in those manifestations. I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't even care what it is. I just want what is meant for me to come. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm really going to work on myself and listen to myself intuitively. So, if you are also in that kind of vibration where you're like, I'm not sure what I want, I'm not really focusing on like anything that I want to bring in, just use this time to focus on yourself because the energy is there also for kind of illuminating your soul's path and taking that kind of leap forward.
I love that. Yeah, Leo energy is all about courage, creativity, and heart. So you could also just simply do a meditation where you meditate on where can I shine without apology? Like
I love
what
that.
would that look like?
Yeah, that's a great one. I love that so much. Maybe you should create a meditation for that and we can all do it next time.
Okay, I can think about it. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, well, we hope that you guys are feeling the energy and feeling brave enough and courageous enough to let your true soul shine forward because we would love to hear from you. We would love to see you. We know that you have so much to give. So if you feel called to be on this podcast with us, feel free to reach out to Kelly or to myself. And let us know what you're doing during this portal. What are you calling in and what are you releasing?
Thanks, and we'll see you again soon.